is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show. Your war room for insider news and draft analysis from deep within the confines of Cowboys headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
And now, your host, Kyle Yeomans.
Today is Tuesday, February 25th, 2025, and we are 58 days away from the NFL draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Welcome into the Draft Show presented by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. It's Miller time. It's also NFL Combine time.
Yeah.
Players hit the field in Indianapolis at Lucas Oil Stadium this week. We are so excited to have something to talk about when it comes to the finality of these players. And with that being said, we've got a lot of our groups spread out across the country right now. We've got some individuals in Indianapolis like Tommy and Nick. We've got some individuals in Arizona for Ranger spring training like Zach and Brian and Bobby. So we've got one of the best to ever do it on the Draft Show airwaves. Vach Lombardi back here.
Vach,
We've got Iisha Morrison back on the show for the first time this year. Iisha,
Barnacles.
I cannot tell you how excited those that have been watching have been on the mentions and on the Twitter waves and the YouTube waves to get you back in the fold. Welcome back.
Doug, I was seeing all the mentions. People have been messaging me. I was like,
Did you feel a little pressure?
yes.
Star power.
Listen, y'all know I'm gonna keep it 1,000 on here. I'm like, y'all don't get your
You ever
hopes
had
up
people
too
like
high.
getting excited to have you on a show?
Oh, nobody like me.
Never
dog.
like
What
that,
you
man.
mean?
Same
No,
here,
they
dude.
cuss
It's
at me and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. They don't like me like that, no.
Why you gotta be faking like that? You know people like you.
They tolerate me. They put up with me. They don't like you.
Whatever.
You are a star to Iisha. I'm not one of
Whatever.
those.
Oh, it's
you
nice.
go.
It's nice to be back. The draft show means a lot to me.
Yeah.
I definitely had some FOMO not being in it, but I've been paying attention to you guys,
Yep.
getting some insight from you guys. It's been different for me because, with the draft show, it's like I think I'm going at a different pace this year, which I actually am excited about because it's allowing me to go even more in depth than what I was before. So I'm happy to be here. Happy to talk about with you guys.
No doubt about it. And you and I have taken a trip to the Combine together before, so you know what that process is like. You were at the Senior Bowl, so we got to catch up with you out there for a little bit in Mobile, so you know what that's like. I mean, you have the experience and you have the background now, and you're an experienced NFL draft analyst vet in your own right. So I kind of want to ask you just generalities of this draft class. I mean, what are some of the things that you've kind of latched onto and seen across the way? Whenever you're doing your research, what's your general feel about what 2025 looks like?
It's obviously one of the best running back classes we have seen in a while. I think you can grab a guy in the third, fourth, maybe fifth, and like maybe beginning of the fifth, and be like, you know what, this guy can actually come in and play. Obviously, we talked about the defensive tackle position and all the versatility that is there. I also too I know we're not going to talk about it much today because it's quarterback is quarterback, but I think some of the gentlemen that this quarterback class is a class that people have been down on. But as you look in the games and some of those things, like you do see some guys that you're like, okay, well maybe he will be, a Bo Nix type guy or have that type of impact. So for me, it's really the running back class, the defensive tackle class, and also too, I do think there's some good guards out there now. It's obviously not as rich as it was with the tackle position as it was last year and things like that. But one of my things is there's a lot of tackles in disguise. A lot of guards in disguise as tackles.
Yeah.
So, and that's, again, I'm still very fresh in my study, but those are some of the things I've noticed so far. What y'all got?
May I please, right? We even got in our little group chat situation texting about quarterbacks, and I was like, bah, humbug, I'm not here for quarterbacks. But the Cowboys probably have to do something as far as young quarterbacks go. Is that even something that y'all are on board with? And look, they don't care nothing about us, right? But we got needs. We got stuff that I would like to have. And Brother Jones came out and said, yeah, we would likely entertain a trade. And that could be meaning trading a 5th or a 6th round pick to go get like a veteran or something like that. Do y'all even think that, do y'all think that it's room to draft a young quarterback just to sit down and develop with Dak Prescott having 4 years under his contract coming up? Like, is that even worth it?
Not with all the I kind of get your thinking with all the other needs you have because tater tots.
Give me another linebacker.
It's heavy. I mean, the amount of guys you're going to have to, especially with the injuries and then possibly re-signing guys. But I also will say, I think we saw that David Moore reported that, maybe they're not going to sign back Trey Lance. So then it's like I saw a lot of people commenting on my post about, okay, well, what about Will Grier?
He's on the roster.
He's on the
So
roster.
He's there.
So is Will Greer an upgrade?
If Dak gets hurt, I'm going back into draft mode for 2026. Like that's
Already.
And that would be the reason why maybe they would be cool with getting a quarterback in the later rounds. I can't think of anything other than
That's the key, though. Is it's got to be the later rounds. We're not talking top 100 picks. We're not talking first, second, third round. If you wanted to trade for a veteran and make a move and package one of the fourth or fifth round picks you're going to have,
sure.
maybe you could do that. I don't have any names that even I would throw out there, even if I was able to tamper and throw it out there. I don't have anybody that I would want. But if you wanted to maybe entertain that option with the fifth round picks, sixth, seventh round picks that you have aboard, I'm here for it. I'm not here for another premium pick. You've already wasted one fourth round pick.
Yeah.
Because right now it's a waste. Trey Lance was a wasted move. You tried it. You saw what he had. You thought maybe you struck gold. And if you're not going to re-sign him, then it's a waste.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do that again. I'm okay with talking about later picks and throwing some out there. But right now, when he said that yesterday, I get the general sense that they would throw a dart at the board maybe in the 6th or 7th round.
Question, because I'm just not sure. There's an imaginary team on the West Coast, allegedly.
Okay, allegedly.
And, boy, they just got – I'm just assuming they got this Pro Bowl pass catcher type character.
Yeah, like
Is that a trade situation, or is he a free agent guy?
that would be a trade situation.
So would you rather? Okay, somebody come and just said, would you rather like Kyle McCourt, Syracuse, right? Would you rather him, or would you rather send a 5 to some miscellaneous team for a pass catcher that can help you?
I would rather do the second one.
I don't even think it's room for like
You
young
can do
guys.
both of those, though.
You got 5. You got four fives.
4 5s.
But man, I need some linebackers because we hurt.
You're right.
I would love maybe like another running back just because the running back class is so thick.
Would you rather go get a veteran quarterback to back up Dak Prescott, or go get a veteran linebacker to fill your linebacker room? Because that's kind of what you're deciding. But
I wonder, with the veteran linebacker thing, I wonder if there's even any interest in bringing back Kendricks. Obviously, Kendricks, like I felt like last year he dealt with some injuries, but towards the latter part of the season, I thought we saw him kind of come together and play better. I wonder
it's
if
a
you can get him for
33-year-old linebacker.
I wonder if you can get him for the low or whatever, and bring him back, and
what?
as opposed to the low.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
That's very low.
Goodbye.
Veteran linebacker.
That means super low, just as low as you can possibly get.
No knock to Kendricks. Don't get me fired up. But no, seriously, I personally think some positions require veteran, and I am sick and tired of this linebacker core always being in limbo because you do not have a steady veteran to teach these guys, to mentor these guys. I mean, and obviously we heard the players last year talk about, just even though Kendricks wasn't on the field all the time, just the impact of having a veteran that's been there, that's done it, that's seen it. I'm ready for that. I think there's some key positions you need veterans in. And to me, that would be defensive tackle, and it would be linebacker.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm always going to, like, if I could take a pick and get a veteran with this young team, everybody's, curious about leadership and all that. I would love to bring as many old auxiliary type dudes I can bring. Because, look, if Dak was on, like, some 1-year contract or something, right, then in my mind, I'm going, okay, I'm going to use one of these 5s as, like, a roll of the dice, as, like, like a lottery ticket type thing, right? Dak is here. So if he's here, there's no young dude taking over anytime soon. So it could be Kyle Yeomans and Iisha Morrison playing backup quarterback for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I've got a cannon, so don't watch out.
I don't.
If I need a second or a third quarterback, I'm just not even interested anymore. I'm
saying
taking,
if Dak is out, then you're out, right?
If Dak
then
is,
as a team, if Dak is out, then you're already down.
I don't think Will Greer is going to win us the last 8 games if something bad happens to
But
Dak.
that's kind
He's
of
not
going to
Nick Foles this thing?
No, sir.
No, that's how football go, though. Like,
Sure.
you lose your quarterback, the expectation,
It drops significantly.
it drops significantly. But I will say, too, and again, this is not my perspective. I'm just speaking with Dak Prescott and some of the history that he's had. Like, some of the injuries have been freak injuries, but some of them are just legitimate injuries.
Yeah.
Is that something that they're thinking about?
Then
Is
if
that
that's the
something that
case-
they would think about?
If that's the case, I want to do what the Eagles did and get like a Kenny Pickett type character, right? Like
Right.
a higher up here type backup guy, but a 5th rounder shooting the dice on him to come and save us if that gets. I'm not trying to do that. So I'm trying to find the best, and they probably tried to do that. They sent the fourth to get Trey, and they hoped that Trey was gonna turn into something that was gonna be something.
That was that stab.
It wasn't.
I guess I get that.
So and if there's not one of those dudes available, because it ain't even 32 starting quarterbacks I like, so let alone go find some backup somewhere. Sure. Unless you find me Jameis Winston or something, then I can feel good, like that type of dude. You know what I'm saying? But if it ain't that,
somebody that's gonna add to your locker room, even if he's not playing, that kind of thing.
James gonna give us some damn content. You hear me?
Boy,
we gonna get some views.
Sounds of the sidelines gonna be the best it's ever been.
We gonna get some views with James up here.
Alex Lilly, our editor in the back, is gonna be just beaming whenever we sign or trade for Jared. I don't even know is he a free agent? I think he is.
Yeah, could be. Who knows? But as far as them fives, I'm drafting another tackle on defense because that group is fantastic. I'm drafting a running back. I'm sending that fifth to go get a wide receiver from some damn team over there in Cal. I don't know wherever. And hell, with the fifth, the word is your oyster. Go ahead.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So, when you talk about Shotty coming in and taking over, obviously as the head coach, there is a gentleman that is somewhere in Pittsburgh that is, I'm not sure what his contract situation is, but I do feel like he is kind of in the latter part of his career.
What alleged position he play?
Huh? The one that have the ball a lot? The one.
Oh, so center.
Okay.
Yeah, center.
Cowboys ride, allegedly.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Would you be interested even in that? Like, again,
I don't think Pittsburgh's interested in that.
But are they interested?
Pittsburgh like him?
Are they interested in keeping him? Because I was listening at the scene while I had him, my ears low to the ground.
Yeah, you think?
And it sounds like they might be over it. So for me, it's like if they're over it, there's history there with Shotty and things like that.
My question is, who else do they have?
I take the other one.
Yeah,
The
that's what
Nugget?
I thought.
The other alleged young.
Well,
That
'cause
one that likes horseshoes a lot and played in one.
But they're in a weird situation, period, right now at that position to where I think they might be willing to part ways with one of those humans.
Yeah.
If they are you interested in any one of those
If that's my backup, they can have a five. They can have a five if that's my backup.
because I think both of those guys at this point are in that range that you folks are talking about.
I like that idea, I think.
Okay, I just was throwing it out there.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. I love how we have to talk in code because half of our listenership is probably like, wow, that was really that was funny. How
I don't
crazy.
work here, man.
And then the other half is like, what the hell are they talking
Sorry,
about?
y'all.
Security
This is
coming right now.
stupid.
To walk me
Yeah,
out of
they're
there.
walking down. No,
Both those players are free agents, guys.
Oh, so Justin
Fields
Yes.
and Russell Wilson can come right up in here.
But that's why I was mentioning.
Thanks,
them.
Beamer.
I'm looking at the list right now. They're both free
Appreciate you,
agents.
buddy.
Thank you, Beamer.
I'm not
My
up to
show was-
speed on Pittsburgh's free agent
Hey,
situation.
look, Russell Wilson making $38 in Pittsburgh. They're not gonna give him no money or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I think that'll be a prime. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think?
$38.
Would you rather have one or the other?
I would rather have Fields than Wilson.
rather
I
have
would
the
too.
Nugget?
I would have the youth. The
youth.
is what I want.
I think he's physically better right now. He doesn't have all the processing stuff that Russell has and the experience, but
And I also don't want the stupid storylines that would be around Russ and
Yes.
Dak.
Yeah,
But it'd be a-
Because it would be unbelievable.
This
it's
is-
going to be dumb regardless.
I think that's a
but-
formidable.
Sure.
I think he would be a formidable backup at this point. Obviously,
Either one
still
would be
needing
fine.
to develop, still needing some
Yeah.
time. I think Dak would be a good fit for him. There are some similarities in their game. How would he fit here?
It's almost like taking
about.
the Trey Lance deal again, but you're only sending a fifth instead of a fourth.
And I personally, but obviously, there's more playing time there. There's more experience there. He's played in multiple systems. I think maybe that would be a good start for that part.
Justin Fields you ain't got to send a pick for him. So, yeah, he's better than any quarterback you can get in day 3, especially in this draft. This draft don't really stretch like that. Dylan Gabriel maybe is a guy that you would assume because, he's throwing some cool little passes. He's won some games or whatever. But I'm, Fields with the athleticism and the arm.
Could you pair? Let me think of it this way. I'm thinking back to Bo Nix. You brought him up. One of the big pluses for Bo Nix last year is that he had his top college wide receiver go with him to Denver.
Sure.
Is there a way you could pair quarterbacks here with some of their bigger, more utilized wide receivers? So like Dylan Gabriel, you could say Tez Johnson.
I think.
I like Tez Johnson.
Both from Oregon.
I like Tez Johnson.
But with Dylan Gabriel, one thing that I noticed at the Senior Bowl, and this is something that I heard numerous scouts say, talk about his height.
Yeah.
And the size. Obviously, we talk about it, but seeing it in real time, the guy can deliver a ball. The guy has fantastic touch in those things, but baby, he could not see over those offensive linemen at the Senior Bowl. And I do think that that's something that even we saw with Bryce Young. We saw with Bryce Young. We saw with Russell Wilson earlier in his career. Drew Brees, is that those guys eventually adapt and they figure it out. Like it takes them a little time to figure it out. I really have enjoyed Dylan Gabriel and what he's able to do, and obviously too, he knows how to distribute the ball across his stars, which I wouldn't be opposed to him in the later rounds either.
I don't think there's anything wrong with going for the older guy though, because we've been seeing this emergence of the old man Q just kind of coming back. You know, Baker's having the best.
There's one on that team in California, I think.
Huh?
There's one on that team in California that you were talking about.
He wants some money though.
Yeah, the money.
He ain't no free agent.
Yeah, no.
Huh?
Not at all.
Oh.
We're making a reference back to the early part of the episode.
Yeah.
You talking about the boombox people?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
The other California team.
Carried
the one that happens to have like maybe a hypothetical receiver that they or pass catcher that they want to maybe like trade somewhere.
He like 38, used to be in
some
some Midwest team, but he in California now. Just won a Super Bowl 10 days ago, just allegedly.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I was picking it up. It just takes
Long
me a
story
longer.
short, I'm not drafting quarterback in day 3 of this thing. I'm going to go find defensive tackle because defensive tackle stretches.
Yes.
So, what position group that you've watched, Iisha, that has that same caliber, that depth in this draft class that you think Dallas can wait past the first 3 rounds on? Because that's been a lot of our conversation is how do you spin those first 3 picks? First, second, third round, 12, 44, and 76, because you have to wait. Now, you luckily get to stack the back half of your board and you get to throw a lot of darts at the dartboard. However, what position even gives you confidence that it can get there?
I think it's only obviously to me it would be defensive tackle and maybe running back. I do.
She got it.
I'm gonna hurt when there is a run on running backs in the 4th round and I'm not there. But no, I think with the defensive tackle class, like even I know we're gonna get to it, but I mean even I think about a guy like Josh Farmer, who I think is gonna go a little later, because some people have some questions about him, but Again, like he's not super flashy. He doesn't always look super pretty, but a player you can add that's going to have impact to me almost immediately. What you guys think?
I will save my Farmer take for the this or that, but you're absolutely right. But just another unit that goes a little bit far. Just looking at my board here, you see all these edges I got.
I was thinking the same thing.
I got 26 edges, man, and by the time we get to this, I can only assume that some of your round 3 edges will drop down to 4, and some of your round 4 guys go to 5.
Yep.
So by that time, Josiah Stewart, Michigan, Powell Ryland, you know what I'm saying, V-Tech, Joey Ivy, Joey Ivy. There's a lot of guys you
Jared
could
Ivy.
Jared Ivy.
Ole Miss.
There's a lot of guys you could just lean on. Tyler Barron, Miami. So
Hugh Robinson, Alabama. A couple of these guys.
I don't want to butcher his name, but the gentleman out of UCLA,
Olawafemi Oladejo.
What a dog he is.
Seeing him at the Senior Bowl, y'all.
Yeah.
Every day I was like, who in the world is 99? Just pops off the screen, so much power, not super bendy, but still has good balance. He's another guy that I think people are going to be, because the motor is just, it runs hot.
He don't even know how to pass rush.
He don't.
We got film.
He got switched. Oh yeah, this plays in the background.
Listen,
We got film.
Yes, sir.
They're the
He
best
don't
in
even
the
know how to pass rush yet. This just all ball get off burst effort, ass whoop, and he's fantastic in the run game for a stand up, edgy type guy or whatever. I'm a big fan of his. I got him in the 4th, but I can see him going higher though. Somebody gonna like him. Go ahead.
Yeah, same thing. He told us at the Senior Bowl that he started as a linebacker, was recruited as a linebacker.
Yes.
Even some teams will still list him as a linebacker, but that man is an edge rusher.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. And I moved him. I had him kind of like 4th or 5th round before Senior Bowl. I had him in a 4.5, that little cheater grade back there.
Sure.
And when we saw him at the Senior Bowl, I bumped him to a 3rd. I'm telling you, as an edge rusher, I think, like you said, there's fundamental aspects of his game that aren't great. The handwork, the footwork, the balance, the bend, but he has all the natural ability. If you could get him in the right place and put him in the right position to be successful, where he's not doing that and he's not playing off the second level and instead he's rushing from the line of scrimmage, I think this dude's going to be a monster.
He's such a good mixture of power and speed, and like you mentioned, Vach, he just working off of
genetics
want to go get the
whooping.
quarterback to be taught, like for someone to help him work his hands more. I think he's going to be a problem. So yeah.
Any other late round edge that you kind of keep your eye on? I mean, I know Barron Sorrell was a Texas edge rusher, a little undersized, but he was somebody at the Senior Bowl that stuck out. That would be somebody in the day 3 range for me.
See, man, at one point I did have him as like a day 3 guy, but he just kept whooping folk. He kept.
Where's
getting
he at
better.
now?
He's a 3 for me. He's
Wow.
a high 3 for me. It's
You like these edges, then.
Sorrell, Swinson, Sawyer, Birch in that order. That's kind of where I got him bunched up in there. But
Where'd you say Josiah Stewart was?
Josiah Stewart. Let me scroll a little. Josiah is in
Out of Michigan?
is in the 4th round for me,
'Kay.
and he has some good tape also. If you watch his USC game, he gave those children fits. But if you watch some of his other games, you kind of see, okay, well, this is where he's going to have some problems there. But very athletic, get upfield kind of guy. You know, he's not a technically refined. That's another theme too. A lot of these guys aren't going to be technically refined.
And that's what people are looking for,
Sure.
and it make me mad
Well, you can't have that.
because
Why does it make you mad?
Huh?
Why does it make you mad?
But well, first of all, it's frustrating because I do think that a lot of people are looking for the finished product with some of these positions, and I'm like, dog, like, do y'all understand the detail in being a defensive end? Do
Sure.
you understand what they're asked to do on a consistent basis?
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate the fact, like, seeing guys that, because I look at a guy like Jaw Joyner out of Minnesota, super tall, again, not a whole bunch of bending things, but you can see that he has balance. You can see that he obviously needs to improve some of his hand movement, but the feet are quick. He has some decent get off.
Yeah.
Why not, like, do we develop any more out here?
I ain't even seen him, so you just
Is
doing
that acceptable?
you doing your thing. But
Sometimes
look,
I just pick people. And
understood. So look, this is my thing, right?
It's like Keanu Benton all over again.
I think
I just picked them out of nowhere, like, I'm going to watch him today.
I think, whoever it is, me, you, Kyle, you kind of are either going to be floor guy or girl or ceiling guy. Like, it just depends on what you like. I happen to be floor guy. I like okay, you know how to use your hands already. You know certain little techniques already. I can kind of, fix certain things, right? Jack Sawyer is a great example of that. Like,
That's a great one,
he's ready to go right now.
I watched him.
And Michael Williams from Georgia is like the opposite of that. Right?
Ceiling. All ceiling.
He's all ceiling.
ceiling.
But my problem is when you're so ceiling guy, I want to see you film. When you're so ceiling guy, I want to at least see how you win right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see you win, but then I want to see room to grow. So Princely Umami Yellen,
Umami Ellen, yep.
Please.
Umami Yellen, he's a double-digit sack guy right now.
And he's ceiling.
And he's got room to grow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So that's why he's a top pick. That's why he's a guy that will probably sneak into the back half of the first, in my opinion.
100%. So
He's
I think
second on my board, but he'll probably be a pick in the first.
100%. So I don't have a problem with the not refined guys. I at least just want to see you. Okay, show me how you win right now, and then I could teach you everything, like the nuances later on or whatever.
And I think you talked about it. When you're a scout, you either see it as a floor or you see it as a ceiling. I'm
Yes.
probably, as a media scout myself, I'm probably more so a ceiling guy because I'm looking for traits and I'm also trying to pair it, like you said,
Yeah.
with production. As I'm writing my scouting reports and putting it together, I'm looking at these guys and it's like, okay, wow, they were all ACC, they were all SEC, they were doing all American things, they were putting it all together. But I just don't see the ceiling side of it, where that's where the floor comes in. And that's where you end up having these guys that end up with phenomenal college careers, but they don't fit in with certain teams and they start dropping down boards and they end up having great careers. Jalen Hurts was one of those guys.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts was a guy where a lot of teams didn't see a ceiling, but they didn't need one from Jalen. He had the floor.
Don't start.
Well, Jalen Hurts still can't throw the football.
Please.
Which is true, but guess what?
But
they
hey, but
win with
they-
him.
they won,
They
yeah.
find a way to do it, and so he's not the only example. That's just the first one that came to mind because I know we've talked about him on this show before. So there's elements to the way you scout, and that's just going to continue to develop as the draft class goes on.
Very situational as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's situational. Like, what type of depth do you got? Like, what
Sure.
type of guys do you have, again, to help these guys develop and to help these guys become.
You have the right coaching staff.
Absolutely. So,
Give me 11 Kyle Van Noy's and we can go run it. Just a guy that's gonna play in the league for 12 years. Not exciting at all, but just a hard working.
love football, man.
Love ball. Just I ain't gotta gamble. Like Kyle Van Noy now is who he was in college, boy. I just love
I know I've grown to like him. I wasn't super
I
fond
love security.
originally.
All right. We got to take our first break. When we come back, it's time for some Twitter on the 20 with Iisha and Vach. And as Vach likes to say when the film pops up on the film, film. I like it. All right, we'll be back with more of the Draft Show right after this.
What?
Life is a workout, and Smoothie King is here to help you power through. Whether you're maxing out overhead presses, pushing through chest flies, or being the hero your golden retriever needs to carry them over that scary bridge, Smoothie King has the fuel to help you go all out. Build muscle and boost your recovery with 45 grams of protein, 0 grams of added sugar, and delicious customizable ingredients in the Gladiator Smoothie. Available in chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla. Only at Smoothie King.
Hi, Drew Pearson, former Dallas Cowboy and now Pro Football Hall of Famer here. If you're struggling with your vision and tired of those contacts and glasses, don't throw a Hail Mary. Go where I went. Laser Care Eye Center, the official LASIK partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Drew, thank you so much for trusting us with your vision correction procedure. At Laser Care Eye Center, we offer 6 different vision correction procedures to help patients see.
Check them out at dfweyes.com. Tell them Drew sent you. Hood hood.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
This is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show.
Back here on the Draft Show, presented by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. It's Miller time. Also, this is my sort of read. The first ever Lone Star Smokeout is coming to Arlington. Watch headliners John Party, Cody Jinks, Midland, and more as this 3-day outdoor country music festival. Plus, enjoy barbecue from some of the best pitmasters in the country. Get your tickets today at SeatGeek.com, the official ticketing partner of AT&T Stadium.
Hey.
Barbecue and country music. That sounds good to me.
Can't beat that.
Back here with Iisha Morrison with Vach Lombardi. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Glad you're with us. Before we get into some Twitter on the 20, Vach, you were talking about how excited you are about the film. This is your first year on the Draft Show.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You've watched the Draft Show in the past.
Yeah.
That doesn't just pop up, you know? Like
Yeah.
you've got the hard work of the people in the back, guys like Chris Beam, Scott Purcell, Jasmine Marshall, Paul Bastidas, Victor's back there, and that's not even the end of it. There's a whole group of people that are constantly cutting film, so much so that here as we stand, 58 days away from the NFL Draft on February 25th, we don't have quarterback film.
The nerve of me to be like, I
We don't
bet they
have
ain't got no
running
special
back
teams
film.
back there.
You know what they've got? They've got long snapper film.
I be
Vach
damned.
Lombardi.
Phil!
Vach Lombardi, it's long snapper film. This is
Oh, let me tell you a little bit about this guy.
Adam
What the name is?
Brinkman.
Blankman?
Brinkman.
Brinkman. I mean, let me tell you something about Brinkman, man. I love how it stands. He got that right foot behind his front foot. Yeah, look. I don't know. I didn't watch Brinkman, dog. Come on.
You haven't watched him yet?
No.
Dude, you're behind,
No,
man.
man. Special teams ain't real. That's not a position.
What? Ask that to John Fossil and Nick Scourton.
He don't work. Oh,
Not Scourton.
Well, John don't work no more. Shouts out to Nick and all that. But nah, man, I got real football to watch, man.
Oh,
When you drafting
this
them-
is a real football player. 6'4",
them like
240
that.
out of Bel Air, Maryland, doing some work with West Virginia.
What round you got him?
The first. Absolutely.
2 hour.
What place do you have to be in to draft a long snapper?
You got to be set.
Pretty damn good.
You got to be straight. You got to win a Super
Your
Bowl.
team's got to be really good.
I sure was thinking like,
You got to win 5 in a row, and you can do what you want.
I was about to say, like, you got to win draft and then be like, you know what? As a matter of fact,
You've got
need a long
Alabama.
snapper.
How about Alabama punter film? Would you be interested in that?
Your last
Sure, that's
name.
gonna-
Your last name got to be Jones, because ain't nobody gonna fire you if it go bad. So that's
Oh my goodness.
you want us to all get fired.
I've got a scouting report on the
Arrest me.
on the Alabama punter.
Please, I would.
Give me 2 seconds. Yeah, give me 2 seconds. This is Graham. Oh, wait, no. This is James Burnip, the redshirt senior, one of the top punters in the country, helped the Tide to limit its opponents to less than 1 yard per punt return mark and leads the nation 5th in the SEC for yards per punt this past year.
Oh, that's impressive,
It's a weapon.
Yeah, that's
That was from the play-by-play boards. Don't worry, I didn't actually watch the punter film.
Okay.
Congratulations, James Burnip. All right, we've got some time now.
All right.
Welcome back, Iisha.
Hello.
You remember this? You want to cue the
Tweety.
What do we have coming up?
Twitter on the 20.
Twitter on the 20.
Somebody excited. Hey.
Somebody
I like
excited.
the echo thing.
The first one actually has a question for Iisha.
Why do you gotta ask me?
Well, they want to know who
That's
is
about them
your
seventh
early
rounders.
pet cat. Who's your pet cat so far going into Combine Week?
Huh? All right.
What's the rule for pet cat though? Go ahead and get that together.
Yeah,
Like, what's
what
the
is
rule?
it?
Like,
It's got to be somebody that you would be willing to stake or stand on the table for. It
Okay.
could be a first round guy if you really feel like it, but it's probably more so you're not going to stand on the table for a first round guy.
Okay.
You're going to stand on the table for more of like a second, third, day 3 guy.
Yeah, I got you.
Probably the later you get in the draft, the more you're standing on the table for.
Talk about one of them running backs you like.
No, I don't want to do that. I'm gonna talk about a wide receiver I like.
Go for it.
Knock it out.
I watched Ricky White last night,
UNLV.
and man,
We talked about him briefly. Somebody else
he
asked
can
about
get
him.
jiggy, big dog.
I haven't watched Ricky.
Man, he's fun. 6'2", 6'1", basically 6'2", a little light in the butt. He 180. But he put on a show at the Shrine Bowl, and there was a lot of buzz coming from him.
Yeah.
What really stands out to me is how willing of a blocker he is. And he's not just, and when you look across the NFL and you look at some of the best offenses in the league, they have guys that on the offensive side that are willing to get upfield, get to the second level, and to block. This is a guy that can do that as well. You see his physicality. He's able to play through contact. He's a pretty steady route runner. He displayed that at the Shrine Bowl. He was cooking these folks out there. But he's quick off the snap. I just like how he attacks angles and he makes people work. And when you think about it's funny that like when you watch him, I watched him, I saw some Ricky Pearsall. I saw some of that style, obviously not as dynamic, but still a gentleman that I think I think he can really raise his stock at the if he's at the combine, I'm not sure. But yeah.
I believe he is.
Ricky White is a gentleman that I'm looking to really, and obviously the yards after catch ability. So everyone wants a guy kind of like what he is right now. The size is okay. Yeah.
I like it. So that would be classified as a pet cat.
Yeah,
probably a 4th round receiver.
Maybe.
Where would you put him?
I would put Ricky maybe maybe the beginning of the late 3rd, depending on how you feel, depending on how the board falls. I think we're going to see a run on wide receivers, maybe the middle of the 1st, and then going into the 2nd. So
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Iisha Morrison, ladies and gentlemen, just step right in and just whooping it. She ain't miss a day up in here.
Not even a blink. Tell me a little bit about what your pet cat.
Who's your pet cat?
Offensive line for me out
You're
there
sick.
every day, man. Y'all know people gonna be
You're
sick.
sick.
Of me. Marcus Bow from Purdue. Is that how to
Just
say
Bow.
it? It's just Bow.
Well, actually, no. It's just bow, like a bow and arrow, but there's a silent M.
Guard or
so it's
tackle?
Marcus Bow.
The M silent. Okay, so Iisha, that's a fantastic question. Glad you brought that up. People have him as a guard. I don't like little bitty guards. That's my problem. He's about 295, 290. Damn! Look at him over there. So
You gotta stop being so.
what I really like about Marcus Bow, man, is that he's nuanced guy. I always talk about floor guy, and I'm floor guy. He's floor guy. Take a look at his technique. Look at how he gets to the landmarks. Look at how he fights. Look at how he sets guys up. Kung fu fighting counters and all that. I'm blown away by his movement, outside zone stuff. I love how he gets to the next level. Look at him just reaching over there, getting to the second level and blocking linebackers and DBs, and I love the idea of Marcus Bow playing tackle, but he doesn't have the long arms that people want from their tackles. Now, I think he's fine if you're a tackle and you don't have long arms, and I think you'll just live in this world where you could just learn how to hand fight. He's a badass hand fighter, man.
I told you there's a lot of them in disguise as guards.
It's all good, but I think he can play guard depending on the system because of his athleticism, because those reaches that I just mentioned earlier, right? But in my mind, I think he's a guy that probably gonna gain a little bit of weight, peanut butter, get him to about 315 at least. I don't know how it's gonna work over two or 3 years or so, but let him play where he's natural. He's a natural tackle to me. He's just light, he's just small, so sometimes he gives up a little bit of ground. ground when he's getting bull rush and things like that. But as far as a hands and kung fu fighter, nothing makes me smile more than my tackle being a good-handed kung fu fighter.
Can you say the name again for me?
Marcus Bow.
It's spelled M''BOW, but apparently the first M is silent.
Is there an apostrophe? I think it's just MBOW.
Well, I could be wrong,
but it's just Bow.
Thank you.
Bow and arrow.
I'll check him out.
Yep. The one thing about him from the Senior Bowl that I remember is he had kind of a reverse Tyler Guyton timeline at the Senior Bowl, whereas Tyler Guyton had a great first day and then really was rough the second 2 days. And I think his confidence was a little shaken going into the draft process because of that. I think Bo did the opposite. He had a really rough first day. I remember because we interviewed him one of the first days we were out there on Radio Row. We sat down with him and had a great conversation with him. Good dude. Very smart player. He said he was watching film on these guys coming into it, and he was really excited to try and show the preparation. And it was rough. The first day was really not good. I probably would have put him as maybe a bottom 5 guy on my offensive line board in that moment. Mm-hmm. He steadily improved. Second day was much better. Third day he was dominant.
You want to know why? Because when you have technique, you can adapt, right? Yep. You're not just a one-trick pony. I'm a great athlete, but I'm a one-trick pony, right? Tyler Guyton got worse because he's a one-trick pony. People, and I hate to even say that because he's here now, but it just is what it is. Sure. But Marcus was able to figure it out on the fly, and I love that, man. I love toughness on these smaller, good technique having guys. Another one for you, Willie Lampkin, beaming them in the back. I bet y'all ain't got
what's cool.
Willie Lampkin from North Carolina in the back over there.
Oh my God.
Willie Lampkin being 5'10", he's probably gonna be 5'10", 285 playing guard for North Carolina. And I'm like, I know damn well you ain't wrestling these 315-pound people, but he's a wrestler, right? Like not football wrestler, like he wrestles for real. And then he puts that in football.
I love that on a resume for a lineman, offensive or defensive.
Undefeated in wrestling.
Keeps playing.
You're trying to keep one of those guys that was a wrestler back in the day in Osaid Igizua this offseason.
Man, give him
turned
his
out
paper,
pretty good.
I want to see both of them rap. But
I feel.
Yeah, just give him his money.
That's how I feel.
I don't know where the money coming from, but just give it to him.
But do you need?
Huh? Do I need what?
You have too many other stuff you got to do.
That's their job to figure it out. D.R. said that years ago, and it was poignant. It's their job to figure it out. The Eagles can go and I keep bringing them up because they just won a Super Bowl. It is what it is. But they find a way to bring everybody into their house and pay them. So we should too.
My thing about it is just
the Lions.
Sorry, my bad.
The Lions paid 6 people within 2 months. Why can't we?
They had all that cap room, though.
Hey, we gonna find some. Hit your buttons.
No doubt. All right, Josh wants to know, does it raise questions for you that there is an increasing trend of more players choosing to not participate at the Combine and either wait until their pro day or not work out at all? This is the only time we can pretty much answer this question. Does that raise any eyebrows or questions for you across the board?
I'm going to let you go because I don't want to take nobody off.
I want to see you compete. I think it's, I'll call it counter-competitive.
Okay.
If you don't, you just can't go out and run me this, I'm the best rhetoric, and I want to show people improving, and you go, well, I'm not going to throw it down, I'm going to throw it my pro day. If you really feel like you're the best, you should just line up and go run it for the cardio there. Now I understand, quarterbacks and Shador, and he ain't got arm talent, and Cam Ward got thousands of it. But if you Shador, lean on what you do well and place the ball better than him. Like, that's just how I feel. You know what I'm saying? But football has turned more and more into, I don't want to say politics or whatever, but like agents have gotten involved, and he wants the best and he wants the best possible outcome.
You gotta stop that.
He wants the best possible outcome. So, hey, man, Shador, he's going to throw at his pro day where he's most comfortable. I want to hear a quarterback say, hey, man, I'm comfortable wherever y'all want me to throw the ball at. Yeah. It's cool. So, it is what it is. It's what it is.
I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence because I do understand what you're saying in regard to the competitiveness and things of that nature. But then I also do think we've seen guys go out, not perform well at the Combine, get injured at the Combine, but also too, there's so many details in what the Combine is. Mm-hmm. It's not just they go show up and play. Mm-hmm.
It's a whole week.
From talking to the players and understanding it is a test of their will to an extent. I mean, there are tactics, there are things that are done for them to not eat at a certain time or work out or go through medicals right away and then have to get on the field. There's little tests that are in there that I think that some players just want to X out. And I don't know if it's necessarily a bad thing because obviously these teams are meeting with you. They got meetings. Then they got workouts. Like they're doing all these different things. I personally kind of understand some of why some of these players want to X that out and also, too, say, hey, like, I don't want one day to predicate so much of what I've done this past year. Although I do understand what you mean when you say that you want them to compete, but what's the competitive part there?
So even if it's not just throw versus throw, right? I still want just whoever, just my player, to bring mental toughness and just show me that you can be mentally tough.
And the combine tests that.
Sure.
It does.
So if you've been running around all day, you ain't ate all week, you had to throw here and you got to go get measured, you got to walk around naked and doctors look at you and you walk in my building and I just ask you goofy little questions or whatever. I want to see you look, man, your question, man. Let me answer to your question, Because Dak Prescott is one of the most mentally tough people I know. And that wasn't really a part of my draft evaluation for real at first. I've grown into that. Yeah. Even Jalen Hurts, I know I just kind of crapped on him a little early, but that dude stays even. That dude stays cold. You know what I'm saying? So I think, sure, I see your part of it as well.
I see yours part of it.
But it's just great to know that, man, this dude been walking around naked in front of doctors. He's been running and jumping around. And he stood right here and answered what his favorite ice cream is and applied it to football. I think that's fire.
No, I agree. And then obviously, too, we see guys, I remember when we went, you see some guys skip interviews.
Yep.
You see some guys not do well at the podium taking questions. And that does give information as to who they are, especially if you talk about the quarterback position. How does he handle a crowd? How does he handle all of the pressure and these people coming in? I get it. But then I also understand that players are starting to try to preserve themselves. And it's just like, who am I to say no?
Plus, two, this Dallas. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. Like, no.
You're going to deal with it.
Get ready.
Yeah. You do need to get an idea of how they can handle that stuff.
Plus, I would like to know ahead of time. I'm not going to point at nobody that got drafted recently over the last 2 or 3 years or whatever, but I would just love to know how you handle stress. Mm-hmm. I would love to know just how you handle stress.
That's
just in general.
In general.
Like in life.
In life. This will probably never happen to you, but just how do you handle it? You know what I mean? I think that's just more important information. They're just gathering information. These coaches and GMs, and even our media guys out there and gals, they just gathering information.
But also, with a lot of kids going to their pro day instead, I think we've seen an uptick in that in the last couple of years. It's obviously because it is a more controlled environment.
38-yard dashes, boy.
It's a more controlled environment. The coaches have more say. So you have a better idea of what to expect and things like that. And it's the familiarity of being in your building and those things. So it's hard because it's like, we don't want you familiar. We don't want you comfortable. And then it's like, but then if they're comfortable, maybe they perform well. So it's I'm on the fence.
Yeah. Sean, with a question that kind of it goes back to what you guys had the sidebar on with Osa Odighizuwa a moment ago. Which scenario would you prefer? And you can only choose one out of these two. Re-sign Osa Odighizuwa and draft Marcus Hairston from Kentucky, or insert corner on day 2 here. So whatever corner you feel like would fit day 2.
Okay.
Or you can re-sign Jordan Lewis and draft, let's say, a TJ Sanders or whatever similar defensive tackle from day 2 that you would like to draft.
So that's assuming that we can't sign Osa and Jordan.
This is one or the other, Osa or J. Lou, and you draft the other's replacement.
Yeah, because I think we're looking at Hairston as nickel. Yes. Tracking.
I tell you what, man, we got a lot of
and
both.
Sanders is like a 3-tech.
Tracking.
We have a lot of corners and we got a lot of tackles, but I think we have a lot more 1s than 3s. So. And I love J. Lou to pieces. But in this particular situation, maybe I'll draft a corner because you can hide that a little better and keep we'll call it a dominant 3-tech or my ready to go 3-tech. I think if you draft a 3-tech, I mean, unless it's Mason Graham or something, we got to talk about how the hell he's falling down draft boards allegedly. But unless it's a Mason Graham type character, I don't see a 3-tech that's going to step in day 1 and give you something similar. And we're a quasi rebuilding team, but we're trying to compete for real. Yeah. So I would rather my 3-tech be grown man body ready to play right now, and we can get a corner that. I mean, because look,
Eberflus was rather that.
Because look, even if that's the case, we can draft an outside guy and put Bland at nickel. You know what I'm saying? We have options. I feel like we have more options at corner than we do at D line.
That's the right answer to me.
So?
Yeah.
I think
so.
I because you have Kalen Carson.
Sure.
The only thing that even gives me a little bit of pause is the health of Trayvon Diggs.
Sure.
That's the only thing that gives me a little bit of pause. But if you're drafting a nickel, that doesn't really solve that problem one way or the other. You're going to have to address that in a different element. So
I liked him though.
I no doubt. And I think and this isn't just love lost for J. Lou. It's just the nature of the positions that we're talking about. If you have a dominant pass rushing ability from the 3 tech that Matt Eberflus comes in and says he's one of the top priorities that we're going to try and re-sign this offseason, then I think you go with that and you draft the nickel to learn. I mean, you drafted Deron Bland as a 5th-round nickel to learn, and he ended up being your boundary guy and an all-pro in the same sense.
Sure.
So you can find it. Does it make me comfortable at the nickel spot? Absolutely not. I would rather have both guys back, and I would rather do it. But since we're playing this hypothetical scenario where you can only have one, which might not be a hypothetical at the end of the day, I would take Osa, and I would draft a corner.
Osa's younger, too. He's like, what, 26 or something?
Yeah.
This is only his 2nd contract.
Osa been around for a while.
Yeah, I got a lot of respect for Jordan Lewis.
Love J. Lou.
But I also do agree that, listen, I don't know how many times we got to see it that if you can win with 4, you can win up front, then it's going to make everybody's life easier.
Exactly.
And I think, obviously with Eberflus' system and the way that he likes to do things, he expects to get pressure with 4.
Yes.
And Osa is one of those gentlemen that I believe is, capable of that. And you ain't got no 3. You ain't got no 3 techs. Stop playing these games with me.
Hey, man, devil's advocate over, man. Jay Luton showed up as your best corner 2 years in a row, though.
Yes, he has.
Devil's advocate.
No doubt.
It's difficult. But also, too, you talked about the fact that you can bump Deron Bland outside. Sure. I know that's not something that people like to see often from Jordan Lewis, but he didn't die when you asked him to do it. And don't get it twisted. This is that was his original position, was outside corner.
Yeah.
It sucks either way. If you're losing Osa, it's going to be awful. If you're losing J. Lou,
slide down the wall.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
All right. We're taking our second break. When we come back, it's time for a little this or that. We're going to pair some prospects against each other and see which one of our panel likes better. When we come back, more of the Draft Show right after this.
I'm Darren Woodson, former Dallas Cowboy player and Super Bowl champion. When I played in the NFL at a high level, I relied on my vision to see the field. As I started getting older, I noticed my vision wasn't as good, and I was getting frustrated from wearing my glasses all day. I went to Laser Care Eye Center, and Dr. G talked about all the options. Thanks to technology and Laser Care Eye Center, I can see near, far, and between. Don't fumble your vision any longer. Visit them at dfweyes.com and tell them Darren sent you. They got me back on my game.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Life is a workout, and Smoothie King is here to help you power through. Whether you're maxing out overhead presses, pushing through chest flies, or being the hero your golden retriever needs to carry them over that scary bridge, Smoothie King has the fuel to help you go all out. Build muscle and boost your recovery with 45 grams of protein, 0 grams of added sugar, and delicious customizable ingredients in the Gladiator Smoothie. Available in chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla. Only at Smoothie King.
How about them Cowboys? Or how about them Tyson Cowboys Nuggets? As we cheer for the stars on the field, we love that we've also got some stars on our plate, thanks to Tyson brand star-shaped Cowboys Nuggets. That, along with all our other favorite Tyson Foods products, sure make game day special. Score some delicious Tyson Cowboys Nuggets and become a game day star, just like our Cowboys. As you enjoy your stars on and off the plate, remember, tailgates and game day have always been Tyson.
This is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show.
This one is, this read is in not memory because he's out at the combine having a great time, but this is for David Hellman.
Tiny Jim.
How about that? Get ready to let the good times roll at the Star in Frisco this Fat Tuesday, March 4th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's the Mardi Crawl. You don't want to miss it. Join us for a lively evening filled with live music, festive drinks, and delicious bites as you hop between the hottest spots at the Star in Frisco. Grab your most colorful attire, grab some beads, and get onto the Mardi Gras spirit. Admission is free. For more information, visit thestardistrict.com.
When it is?
That is March 4th, Fat Tuesday.
And we just walk around outside?
Walk around outside and you Mardi Crawl. You go back and forth. There's like Concrete Cowboy and Tricky Fish has got a bar. Miko Sina's got some Mambo taxis over there.
Sidecar though?
Yeah, you got Pete's Piano Bar, Sidecar Social.
Sidecar's that girl.
Yeah,
Are they throwing beads over there?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
I take my shirt off, throw some kissing beads around.
Get a grip. Y'all stop. Y'all, please. Please.
Like I said,
I don't work here, dog. I don't work here, dog.
Yes, you do.
I do not.
Oh, good.
My car got one button on it. I ain't got 5 like y'all.
What? Start and stop.
Yeah, that's it. I walk in, I get here, and I walk right back. I walk right back out. I go through security one time.
Oh, man. I like it. All right. Before we leave, we've got to get some this or that out of the way. Let's start at the wide receiver position, okay?
Yeah.
Let's go with Trey Harris,
Mm-hmm.
Ole Miss wide receiver, deep threat, outside receiver, true X. Or let's go with Jaden Higgins. Jaden Higgins are the two. Or Trey Harris. Which one you got?
I got a 3 on Trey.
Okay.
I got a 4 on Higgins. Both these characters.
Higgins out of Iowa State, by the way.
Iowa State. Yeah, both these characters, these gentlemen, thank you, Iisha. Both these characters going to be your ex-receiver type guy, your bigger body type guy. I do like that Higgins, for being so tall and long, that he kind of knows how to navigate zones, and they line him up in the slot a bunch.
Yep.
And that was off-putting to be like a large human playing there. But I was like, hey man, cool, that's impressive. But
In
Trey,
the NFL, they're going to do that, though.
they're going to 100% do it. But I just think Trey Harris, what he does well, I just think he does better. And that's as like physical dude, get some yak after a catch or just jump over somebody. I think Trey does that really, really well. And he kind of got a black belt in that. Neither one of them going to run really well. I think Higgins might run better than Trey. But if I had to pick, I got a 4 on Higgins and a 3 on Trey. So being fair to my board, I'm taking Trey Harris.
Yeah, I would agree with your evaluation of Trey Harris. 6'3", 210. You mentioned the ability to, track the ball in the air, the big play ability. This is a red zone threat. He's also versatile as well, though. Like he's a guy
played some inside out.
Yeah, they do some inside out with him as well. Obviously, you see the catch radius. I love the way he snatches the ball out the air. I love a receiver that snatches the ball out of the air with an intent. I also feel like you can see him set up DBs. You see him reading the DB. That's something that I didn't see as much from a Higgins. Obviously, like you said, they're both contested catchers. I think that Higgins is a little bit more fluid as far as like just the movement looking
weird, yeah.
Just as a route runner. Yeah. Trey Harris can look a little choppy sometimes, but he's effective. He's effective, and was very productive, Jaden Higgins at Iowa State, and I thought he had some good days at the Senior Bowl, but I would be going with Trey Harris as well in this situation, just because of some of the consistency, and more importantly, the yak ability is there a little bit more there with him as well to me.
So I'm going to go with Trey Harris. I think both these guys are great. I've got a 4 on Higgins. With Harris, I call me crazy. Go ahead. I think he's a top 5 receiver in this draft.
Crazy.
Call me crazy. And it goes back to the
some
ceiling.
people really like him like that, though.
It comes to the ceiling conversation we had earlier, right?
Sure.
When I'm looking at Trey Harris, I'm looking at a guy that has the ability with breakaway speed, decent but not perfect route running, but what can you teach at the NFL level? Footwork and route running. You can
Somebody got to
grow
coach something.
that area. I see Trey Harris as having all of those traits, all of those tools, and the one knock he didn't have is he didn't necessarily have a full season to put it all together because he's got some medical red flags.
Sure.
I think if he didn't have the lengthy time off and the sporadic injuries that he had throughout his final 2 years in Oxford, I think we're talking about him as a first-round wide receiver.
And the body control is there
It's
as well. But
so significant.
I want to ask you do you guys think now, I feel like the last couple of years, the X receiver to me is starting to become
go away.
It's starting to go away.
Yeah, okay, sure.
But it's went away.
Yeah.
But I will say within this draft, there's a few more than we've seen in previous drafts. Do you think that's going to possibly affect, like, we're talking about Trey Harris, like you saying you got a 3rd on him.
Yeah.
Because of the demand for having an X receiver again, if someone wants to go that route, do you think that could play into any of these X receivers going up or down?
Yeah. I think it does because it kind of goes back to running back in a draft like this where you've got a running back class. Some teams might be willing to wait because they know they can snag one later.
Tracking.
X receiver, you don't have those guys. You got a lot of small receivers again, kind of like the last couple of drafts. And we've seen it before that these bigger, more physical outside receivers will go earlier than we anticipated. I'm thinking back to Michael Pittman a couple years ago out of USC. Good player. Was he a first-round talented player? It depends on who you talk to. But he ended up going earlier than anticipated because he's that big-bodied X receiver. Did he actually work out in the NFL? I mean, he's had a decent career. He's been pretty good at times. He's battled some injuries. But I see that same level of impact from these X receivers.
Yes.
If I could just name a few of them. You got McMillan, Besh, Williams, A.O. Manor, depend on if you really feel like him, feel about him in that way. Trey Harris, Pat Bryant, and Higgins. So those are my X's, like my true X's, not like move guys that can play X's. Because like Matthew Golden is a move guy, but he can play X's.
He can.
No,
Same thing with Burden from Missouri.
Sure.
Yeah.
But as far as true X's, to your point, since since we don't always get true X's, they may run this year. So fair enough.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
But yeah, I'm a little higher on Trey Harris than I think most people probably are. I would put him in the I would be okay drafting him at 44. That would be perfect value for me.
Honestly, from some of the articles I read and stuff, there are some people who are high on him. So I'm not surprised by that.
I think if he wasn't hurt, he would be in the conversation with. Not with McMillan. I think he's far and away my favorite receiver of this draft, but I would put him right there with Burden. I'm not going to do that because I think there's still parts of his game that are unpolished.
Sure.
And if you're talking about Burden, he's a polished receiver.
Right.
So that's a different one. All right. Second, this or that of the day. We've got Josh Farmer or Omar Norman Lott. A couple of defensive tackles here to go with. What do you think?
Josh Farmer got so many tools, and boy, it's just come down all you floor guys, ceiling guy, man. Omar. Okay, so let me say this: they both are
Farmer, by the way, from Florida State. And Omar Norman Lott is from Tennessee.
So they both are get off the ball guys, first step guys, disruptors, penetrators. They're probably going to be B gap guys, 3 techs. Where they're kind of different. What goes into my conversation, right? Omar Norman Lott, I think he has a better feel for the nuance of what his job is going to be. Like his job is going to be most likely pass rusher, and he knows how to kind of work his hands a little bit better. Josh Farmer, who has more tools than most of these guys, as far as size, length, he's powerful. He don't use his hands at all. So Josh Farmer is full blown ceiling guy to me. Strong
6'3", 315 is what he measured in at the combine. Or I mean at the Senior Bowl.
He is toolsy, arm length and everything. But he's chicken winging people, and chicken wing is a real life football term. Trust me. He's out there chicken winging people, but he's whooping people, chicken winging people, and he's gotten more and more sacks every single season.
It's a teachable thing.
Chicken winging. We think that's what I'm saying. You unless you're gonna go to the league and be a dude that chicken wings for 10 years or whatever. That's the dice roll that you end up with. So Farmer, incredibly talented. If you got a coach that can teach him how to extend so that he can use some of those long arms, then hell yeah, man, you on to something. And I think once he figures out how to use the arm length, I think he'll be even better versus the run, even better disruptor, and he'll start to use his length and separate. Maybe you could teach him how to two gap if you like. But right now he's chicken wing and he's getting chest to chest with guys because he's just running down the middle of them. Omar Norman Lott, he knows how to pass rush. He knows how to get busy. He knows exactly what it is that he, like his role amongst that D line. And Tennessee got some weird numbers on that line, just jersey numbers or whatever. But anyway, I got Norman Lott in the 3rd round, and I have Farmer in the 4th.
That's where I have both of those
But
guys.
if Farmer was not a chicken wing guy, he could be a 2nd round guy.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the fact that both of them are get-off guys, very disruptive. But with Norman, is it Norman Lott? Yeah, with him, got to see him at the Senior Bowl, and obviously the get-off is there. But I was looking at the fact that I think the change of direction to me is better than Farmer's, in my opinion. I think some of the lateral quickness is a little bit better. This gentleman just has the ability to ruin your interior's day. And obviously, too, something that I wanted to point out is that when he was in Tennessee, he was playing behind quite a bit of depth.
Yeah,
so he did what he did as far as his productiveness. I believe he had close to like a 22% pressure rate on limited snaps. When you talk about ceiling and all that stuff, blase, I look at him and I look at the fact that he this is a guy that you can continue to develop, like you were saying, Vach, but also too, like the motor is legit.
Sure.
And it's not scared of no mileage.
I think both of these guys have good motors.
Yes,
motors, yeah.
but I wrote down here, I said that he's a natural pass rusher.
Norman Lott really don't
It
stop.
is natural. It doesn't look, and again, like
Smooth.
Josh Farmer, yes, very smooth. And Josh Farmer is versatile and all those good things. And I think because of his size and the feet, he's able to be Sutton. But I think that if you're trying to look for maybe some longevity and be able to develop more tools, I would go with a Norman Lott as well. But Josh Farmer is not nobody to snuff at. And we already know that FSU pushes out good defensive linemen. I was seeing some of the things he was doing where it looked like he was almost like jump cutting himself to make tackles. And I was like, what am I looking at right now?
Yeah.
You're a defensive tackle.
Fantastic.
You're a huge human. So anyway, yeah, I would agree with you on Norman Lott, but Josh Farmer's not far behind, and I do think if somebody gets a hold of him, they're going to be able to really impact his hands and his toolbox, like you were saying.
And Farmer, I think he has the size and the bulk or whatever to play some one tech if you need it. You know, Norman Lott's probably going to be a guy that's not going to be an A gap too much, but maybe he'll go line up at 5 sometimes
and maybe
if you ain't doing nothing else.
And maybe that boosts Farmer's
versatility and stuff like that.
I think maybe that boosts him because a guy being able to play nose and then a guy being able to play the 3 and the 4, like that's something different. I don't know how many true noses do y'all think is in this draft?
True noses. So you know what? I don't think the 350-pound nose exists anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what I was. That's
defenses don't want to use.
And that's a whole nother thing. So that's why I think that a guy like Josh Farmer, even though we're talking about Lott, like, oh well, he has this, well, he might be more valuable. Some teams might look at Josh Farmer and be like, I can line him up virtually anywhere.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's valuable. He got that weight.
Technically, Graham, Grant, Williams, and Harmon are noses, but they're athletic enough to go play.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's like a true nose.
Yeah,
they could play 3. They could play. They could push them out to a 5 if you wanted to.
Trash cans don't exist no more. Trash can full of dirt guys don't exist no more.
That's crazy.
Quentin Bohanna. Sorry.
Welcome back.
That's crazy.
It was a fun show. You want to do it again Thursday?
Yeah.
Let's do it again Thursday. We'll be back at 11 a.m. Central
Barnacles.
Time. We'll talk a little bit about who you should expect to tear up the combine, who are some of the guys that we're keeping an eye on whenever they hit the field in Indianapolis, and then continue to send in your draft questions. Vach Lombardi, Iisha Morrison, myself, always answering those on Twitter on the 20. That does it for us here from the Draft Show. Special thanks to Chris Beam in the back for getting up all the film for us to watch throughout the draft show today. We will see you on Thursday with more from the Star in Frisco.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?